Hello, everyone. Good evening and welcome to a new session. So, we're back with a new revision session of NET exam. And so, we will be doing some more revision tonight. And I know the sessions are in some way helping you all. I really hope so. Helping you all to revise a bit more, to get a bit more confidence for further studies. And also what we try to do in these sessions is to point out the areas where you should focus on more. Like which are the authors, works, concepts, which are those areas that you should focus on more for your NET GRF. Okay, so all right, with that in mind, let's get started with our session tonight. And please do like the session, okay, and share this if you can, but please do like this session. All right, okay, so let us get started then. Let me start by sharing the screen first. Yes, I believe the screen is visible to you all. Great. So welcome to session number 15 of our Vallath NET revision. So good evening, hello, and thank you for joining, really. So, are we all ready for this revision session? Yes, yes. Okay. So, let's get started with our session tonight then. Okay. Good evening, hello, and thank you for joining. Okay. So, this is the first question for tonight. Rich Like Us is a historical and political fiction novel by Dash. Set in New Delhi during the chaotic time between 1932 and the mid 1970s. It follows the lives of two female protagonists, Rose and Sonali, and their fight to live in a time of political upheaval and social reorganization. So yeah, you have to tell me who wrote this novel, Rich Like Us. Tell me. You will get to see, many questions of this type, mostly in the form of match the following or choose the correct pair, but mostly match the following. The more you look at the PYQs of NET, you will realize match the following and arrange in chronology. These are the two most favorite types of questions of NTA. Match the following and chronology. So match the following will be asked. Okay. So now tell me, Rich Like Us is a historical and political fiction novel by whom? Tell me. Correct. It is by Nayantara Sehgal. It is by Nayantara Sehgal. Okay. Right. It is by Nayantara Sehgal. Can you tell me what's the name of the memoir of Nayantara Sehgal? What's the name of the memoir of Nayantara Sehgal? It is Prison and the Chocolate Cake. It is Prison and the Chocolate Cake. All right. Next, Song of the Open Road is a poem by Dash. Song of the Open Road is a poem by Dash. Who wrote this poem, Song of the Open Road? Who wrote this poem, Song of the Open Road? Tell me. It is by Walt Whitman. Walt Whitman. Okay, Song of the Open Road is a poem by Walt Whitman. It's a reminder for you all to look up all the major poems of Walt Whitman and read his poems as much as you can. Oh, Captain, my Captain, When Lilacs Last in the Dooryard Bloomed, Song of the Open Road. Okay, please read as many poems as you can. All right, yes, read poems by Emily Dickinson, by Robert Frost. Okay, it will really help you. Next, Powers of Horror, an essay on objection is a 1980 book by Dash. Powers of Horror, an essay on objection is a 1980 book by Dash. Say, say, yes. Powers of Horror, an essay on objection is a work by Julia Kristeva. Julia Kristeva wrote Powers of Horror, an essay on objection. It's a 1980 book by Julia Kristeva. Julia Kristeva. All right? Yes? Very good. Tell me who talked about carnivalesque? Who talked about carnivalesque? Mikhail Bakhtin. Mikhail Bakhtin. Okay. In which work Mikhail Bakhtin talked about the concept of the carnivalesque? In which work Mikhail Bakhtin talked about the concept of the carnivalesque? Let me know that in the comments. Okay? Right. Next question. The character of Harold Skimpole in Bleak House was inspired by whom? Tell me. The character of Harold Skimpole in Bleak House was inspired by whom? Tell me. The character of Harold Skimpole in Dickens's Bleak House was inspired by Leigh Hunt. The character of Harold Skimpole in Dickens's Bleak House was inspired by Leigh Hunt. Leigh Hunt. Remember, Leigh Hunt was a major late romantic essayist. Leigh Hunt, Hazlitt, Thomas De Quincey, Charles Lamb, all of them were major late romantic essayists. All right? Please look up all the major essays of Hazlitt, Charles Lamb, Leigh Hunt, Thomas De Quincey. Tell me which essay was written by Thomas De Quincey on Macbeth. Which essay was written by Thomas De Quincey on Macbeth? On the knocking at the gate in Macbeth. On the knocking at the gate in Macbeth. Who wrote Shakespeare's imagery and what it tells us? Who wrote Shakespeare's imagery and what it tells us? It is by Carolyn Spurgeon. Carolyn Spurgeon wrote Shakespeare's Imagery and What It Tells Us. Who wrote the Elizabethan World Picture? Who wrote the book, The Elizabethan World Picture? E.M.W. Tillyard. E.M.W. Tillyard. Who wrote Hamlet in Purgatory? Who wrote Hamlet in Purgatory? It is by Stephen Greenblatt. It is by Stephen Greenblatt. Okay. So just today we had our CVT PG orientation. I think many of you watched it, right? So from today onwards, we have started our CVT PG course. In case you want to join this course, you can do that from our official website of vallath.in. Okay, so from today onwards, we have started our CVT PG course. Right? Great. Okay, next. Epitaph to a Dog is a poem by Dash. It was written in 1808 in honor of his Landseer dog, Boatswain, who had just died of rabies. So, who wrote the poem Epitaph to a Dog? Tell me, who wrote the poem Epitaph to a Dog? Say, who wrote the poem Epitaph to a Dog? It is by Lord Byron. Lord Byron wrote Epitaph to a Dog. Epitaph to a Dog. Who wrote Elegy on the Death of a Mad Dog? Who wrote Elegy on the Death of a Mad Dog? That was by Oliver Goldsmith, right? That was by Oliver Goldsmith, right? Elegy on the Death of a Mad Dog. But still, I will check once again. Elegy on the Death of a Mad Dog. Yes, that's by Oliver Goldsmith. Oliver Goldsmith had written, yes, Oliver Goldsmith had written an elegy on the death of a mad dog. That's different. And this is Epitaph to a Dog by Lord Byron. Epitaph to a Dog by Lord Byron. What was the name of the lab dog in the Rape of the Lock? What was the name of the lab dog in the Rape of the Lock? Remember the lab dog of Belinda in Alexander Pope's The Rape of the Lock? Yes. Tell me, what was the name of that lab dog? Shock. Shock, right? Yes. Shock. Very good. Okay. Shock. Poems descriptive of rural life and scenery was the debut poetry collection of Dash. So, poems descriptive of rural life and scenery. This was the debut poetry collection of whom? This was the debut poetry collection of whom? It was the debut poetry collection of John Clare. John Clare. Okay. So poems descriptive of rural life and scenery. It was the debut poetry collection of John Clare. It was the debut poetry collection of John Clare. The Battle of the Books is a short satire by Dash and published as a part of the prolegomena to his A Tale of a Tub in 1704. It depicts a literal battle between books in the king's library as ideas and authors struggle for supremacy. So, The Battle of the Books is a short satire by whom? Very popular work. He has written Gulliver's Travels, A Modest Proposal, Drapier's Letters. He was one of the major satirists of the 18th century, right? So tell me, who is it? You know this? Yes. The Battle of the Books is a short satire by Jonathan Swift. It is by Jonathan Swift. Tell me, Gulliver's Travels was published in which year? Gulliver's Travels was published in which year? Gulliver's Travels was published in 1726. 1726. Okay. And there are how many books in Gulliver's Travels? There are how many books in Gulliver's Travels? There are 4 books in Gulliver's Travels. 4 books in Gulliver's Travels. Right? After Theory is a theoretical work by whom? Very popular work by a major Marxist theorist. So After Theory is a theoretical work by whom? I will give you options. Is it Frederick Jameson or Jean-Francois Lyotard, Terry Eagleton, or Mikhail Bakhtin? After Theory is a theoretical work by whom? Remember, the concept of post-theory is gaining traction these days. So yes, it's very important. After Theory is a theoretical work by Terry Eagleton. It is by Terry Eagleton. Okay? After Theory is a theoretical work by Terry Eagleton. All right? Yes. Next. Durgesh Nandini is a Bengali historical romance novel written by Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay in dash. So Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay's Durgesh Nandini was published in which year? Tell me. Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay's novel Durgesh Nandini was published in which year? They have asked the chronology of various novels, like there's like Rajmohan's Wife or Gora, right? So there are chances they can ask you the chronology of these novels again, right? So be very careful. Please revise thoroughly. Don't leave behind these important things. Okay, tell me. Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay's Durgesh Nandini. It's a Bengali historical romance novel. It was published in 1865. 1865. Okay, Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay's Durgesh Nandini was published in 1865. Okay, next. John Donne was an English poet, scholar, soldier, and secretary born into a recusant family who later became a cleric in the Church of England. John Donne was born in which year? Again, a very favorite type of NTA is asking you to arrange the writers and poets in the correct chronology of their birth years. So birth years will again be very important. Okay, so birth years are very, very important. Please make sure that you remember the birth years of the major poets and writers. Okay, please memorize the birth years of major poets and writers. Birth years will be very, very important, I'm telling you. So don't miss them. Now tell me, John Donne was born in which year? John Donne was born in which year? John Donne was born in 1572, same year as Ben Jonson. Same year as Ben Jonson. Okay, so John Donne was born in 1572, same year as Ben Jonson, and both of them were contemporaries of Shakespeare. Both of them were contemporaries of Shakespeare. Tell me, which was the commonplace book written by Ben Jonson? Which was the commonplace book written by Ben Jonson? commonplace book by Ben Jonson. It is Timber or Discoveries Made Upon Men and Matter. Timber or Discoveries Made Upon Men and Matter. It's a commonplace book by Ben Jonson. Timber or Discoveries Made Upon Men and Matter. It's a commonplace book by Ben Jonson. Okay? Right. Very good. Very good. Five Bells is a meditative poem by Australian poet Kenneth Slessor. It was originally published as the title poem in the author's collection, Five Bells, 20 poems, and later appeared in numerous poetry anthologies. True or false? Kenneth Slessor, very important Australian poet. It's a reminder for you all to revise all the major Australian poets. Okay? Please revise all the major Australian poets. Don't forget. Okay? Now tell me, is it true or false? Yes, very good. It's true. Kenneth Slessor, it's a very important Australian poet. And it is indeed true that Five Bells is a meditative poem by Kenneth Slessor. Five Bells is a meditative poem by Kenneth Slessor. Very good. Okay. The Critique of Pure Reason is a book by Dash in which the author seeks to determine the limits and scope of metaphysics. It is also referred to as the first critique. And this Critique of Pure Reason was followed by Critique of Practical Reason and Critique of Judgment. In the preface to the first edition, the author explains that by a critique of pure reason, he means a critique of the faculty of reason in general, in respect of all knowledge, after which it may strive independently of all experience, and that he aims to decide on the impossibility or possibility of metaphysics. So, it's a very important work. You all know, many of you have read this work when you have done your courses on enlightenment, right? Yes, it is by Immanuel Kant. It is by Immanuel Kant. Kant, remember, he was an absolute stalwart of enlightenment in the 18th century. So all of his books, be it Critique of Pure Reason, Critique of Pure Judgment, Critique of Practical Reason, or his essays for that matter, all of his works are very, very important. And he was the most important figure of enlightenment. And remember, he had actually declared sapere aude, dare to know, as the motto of enlightenment. He had declared sapere aude, or dare to know, as the motto of enlightenment. Okay, so Kant, very, very important. Read as much as you can about him. Remember his theories of sublimity and transcendental signified. So read up as much as you can about him, okay? Very important scholar and writer. Yes, and that's all about tonight. I really hope you guys loved the session and enjoyed answering these questions. And before we wrap up the session for tonight, it's a reminder for you all that from today onwards, we have started our CUET PG course. If you're interested, you can join our course. All right. So that's all then for tonight. And I will see you all again exactly at 9 p.m. tomorrow again at our Vallath YouTube channel. Till then, do take care and please don't forget to like this session. Okay. So bye and see you all again tomorrow.